Tzu Chi Foundation has worked with the chameleons in India again to provide hospitals and residents with assistance. A 97-year-old Tzu Chi volunteer does recycling with a crutch and studies Dharma teachings every day. 歡迎收睇大嗌 Headlines， 我係 Ruby， 我哋一齊嚟睇下今日嘅內容。In India, Tzu Chi Foundation and chameleons continue to provide hospitals and residents with anti-epidemic materials since last year. Father Babi Abricot especially sent a thank you letter to Tzu Chi volunteers around the world.
In two Catholic hospitals in Bangalore, medical staff are busy taking care of COVID-19 patients. Tzu Chi Foundation has cooperated with the chameleons in India to provide hospitals and residents with assistance.
And whenever we are in need, whenever we call you people, you are there, ready for any type of help. So thank you very much.
Recently, the first batch of 40 priests, nuns, and volunteers have completed a 3-week first-line medical service. The second batch of 34 people also come to serve in 3 Catholic hospitals on May 17. Father Babi of the chameleons specially sent a letter to thank Tzu Chi for their assistance. The priest hopes that people from all over the world can pray together to gather more energy of love, and hope that the pandemic will end soon.
In China, Tzu Chi organized filial piety events in Guangdong and Hunan. Through serving tea, stage performances, and fun games, children could express their love and gratitude to their mothers. A child was holding his mother's hands to wipe carefully, while another one was serving his mother delicate refreshments with both hands. The scene was filled with joy and warmth. In front of a row of mothers' hands, children have to guess which one belonged to their mothers.
We hope that through this game, the children can learn to care about their mothers each day, so they won't be unfamiliar with their mother's hands when playing this game.
In the filial month of May, Tzu Chi organized a parent-child event of filial piety in a community in Guangdong. Combining the concepts of environmental protection, the floral decoration was done by the creativity of volunteers.
In our recycling activity, we usually tell people that plastic fruit wraps can be recycled. This time, we can show them the plastic wraps can be used for home decoration.
In Changsha, Hunan province, volunteers brought their families to join a Tzu Chi activity. The elderly was smiling happily. Offering flowers and serving tea, the daughter also embraced her mother. Both of them couldn't help shedding tears.
My mother is turning 91 years old. I haven't embraced my mom like that before, nor said I love her. I can accompany her this year and she's here with me. Yet we don't know if we will have this chance the next year. So I must cherish this opportunity today.
Cherishing every gathering to keep each other company is the most blessed moment for the mother and daughter pair. The Philippines Tzu Chi Eye Center recently received a generous donation of over $400,000 from a local Chinese businessman. Besides helping the general public with eye problems, the donation also gave hope to one family with an ENT problem.
Makatulog na po sila lola. Pakaisip po.
In September of 2020, 12-year-old Bryce Andre Oxales suddenly bled out from his right eye. I couldn't hear out of his ear. His mother, who was a civil service worker, supports 3 generations with her salary. And under the pandemic, the family couldn't afford to pay the medical bills for Bryce's treatment.
I hope my grandson's ear can get treated. I'm very worried.
I really don't know what to do, especially during this season. The money I'm making isn't enough to cover the medical expenses, so I can only look to Tzu Chi for help.
Philippine Tzu Chi Center received a donation of 20 million Philippine peso from a local Chinese businessman. After discussions with the donating party, partial donations went to help treat Bryce's condition with a specialized ENT doctor.
He has keratosis obturans, which is like a polyp in his ear that attacks his body, then bones. Doesn't get treatment, then it will continue to attack his body. When the condition gets worse, surgery will be much more complicated.
A culmination of love has helped Tzu Chi's free clinic continue to bring relief to those with difficulties in life and give them hope once more.
Studying overseas for a better life. In today's second episode, we get to know Rizal Lucino, who is from an impoverished family in the Philippines' Omic. She worked hard to gain a scholarship to study in Taiwan. Her mother passed early this year, but her family did not have money for funeral services. The Philippines volunteers settled the bills for the family, so Rizal, who was in Taiwan, did not have to worry.
阿嬷，我是谁？你是谁？我是 Lorisa。Lorisa。对，我有3个兄弟姐。
I have 3 siblings. My father is a tuk-tuk driver. My mother is sick and doesn't work. My family's finances are not good.
经济有问题。
In 2013, when Haiyan happened, I got to know Tzu Chi because they came to our country and helped us. They also helped me to come to Taiwan to study because I know Taiwan has more opportunities.
But for the people with chronic disease, especially in the elderly people.
The first semester she was here, her grades were not too good because among 18 students, she was number 11. In the end, it was discovered that she was worried about her mother, as she was in and out of the hospital. We then contacted Tzu Chi volunteers in Omok to see if they can help.
Her mother's body is very fragile. She has tuberculosis, pneumonia, and heart problems. The conditions have been with her for a while. What could have been a minor problem has accumulated into something big. She's now in the hospital and did not have enough money to be discharged, so we contacted the Tzu Chi Philippine chapter for support. More mock volunteers went to find out how they can help, and the hospital fee of 59,000 pesos was paid up, so she can study in Taiwan without worries.
医疗费呢，让他安心专注的读书。
Salamat kayo ninyo, Tzu Chi Foundation.
My mother has been sick for 3 years, and the volunteers would help my mother to go to the hospital and help her buy medicine. Sometimes other people will look in on her, so I'm thankful for Uncle Alfredo and Tzu Chi.
In February of this year, her mother passed, and she was upset because they didn't have money to take her mother home for the funeral arrangement. We then called brother Alfredo to ask the Omic Tzu Chi staff to help. They paid for the money, and her mother's body was able to go home.
去医院，所以当下他们就先把这笔钱付了，然后把妈妈的遗体接回家。我让瑞莎知道说
I let Rizal know that Tzu Chi uncle paid the money for your family. When Rizal received her scholarship money, she immediately sent money to the Philippines to repay the fee.
罗瑞莎有把这个钱呢。
Rizal has sent us the money. Her character is very honest, and we expect big things from her. She has a lot of heart, and she will surely be a great caregiver in the future.
做一个有爱心、优秀的长照，可以发挥很大的功能。
好，阿妈嘴巴打开，谢谢。可以吗？可以。好吃吗？
I know how to feed the seniors and how to change their diaper and clothes. I am happy because I can put the skills I learned in school to use here. At work, I want to be someone with patience, someone who is trustworthy, passionate, and devoted to my work, as then I can be the best caregiver I can be.
In Taoyuan, a Tzu Chi volunteer Li Dengsan met Tzu Chi when he was 87 years old. In the past 10 years, he used crutches to do recycling and studied Dharma teachings every day.
At 5 o'clock in the morning, it's the second time that Mr. Li Dengsan went out. Li Dengsan walked along the street. His eyes were like a radar, and the treasures he found were all the items that people don't want.
Seeing him doing this, I felt a little sad because I originally thought that he was walking along the road and picking up what was found on the side of the road. He went to the trash can to find the unwanted items. Because of the smell of the trash can, it smells bad. He is so old, 97 years old. He still insists on doing this, which is really admirable. My knee hurts because I walk far and do Tzu Chi. There are so many items I need to carry. There's no way to lift heavy objects now, so I filled the bag and I went back.
After walking for a long time with sore legs, he rests on the car and continued to move forward.
When the wind is too strong, my whole person will be blown away, as if flying on a plane.
Li Dengsan began to do recycling at the age of 87. When he was at the age of 90, he was certified as a Tzu Chi volunteer. The spring couplets with Jingsi aphorism on the wall is also meaningful.
I have to post the spring couplets with Jingsi aphorism to remind myself to do Tzu Chi's mission from time to time.
For him, Buddhist scripture and Tzu Chi monthly magazines are his spiritual enlightenment.
You have to read the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings because you don't know many things, so you have to read the sutras. You can't waste time doing Tzu Chi. You have to watch it when you have time.
In his 90-year-old life, he walks with a sticker, but his mind is determined to walk the Bodhisattva path has never changed.
Tzu Chi's second-hand assistive device platform in Hsinchu recently provided a second-hand patient lift to a family in Yonghe so that the 95-year-old paralyzed grandma did not have to lie in bed all day. 95-year-old grandma has been paralyzed for many years. Apart from the ceiling, her children want to give her another view.
My mother is already in her 90s, and we, as her children, are all in 60s and 70s, so we can't smoothly carry my mom to the wheelchair.
Tzu Chi volunteers try every means to satisfy the filial request of the children, so they sought help from the Tzu Chi second-hand assistive device platform.
Usually for a family with such a request, they will spend much time in caring, or it may not be possible for them to go around to search for any devices available to borrow. So we just quickly asked our Tzu Chi second-hand assistive devices platform to see if Brother Gorong have any device to lend.
Brother Guo Rong is the contact person of the second-hand assistive device platform in Hsinchu. After receiving the request, he immediately searched the warehouse for any possible device. He didn't expect to find a second-hand patient lift.
He was a severely ill patient with spinal palsy. The family bought the lift when he was alive. After he passed away, his family donated it to us. So the life of this patient lift can be extended to benefit our care recipients or members of the public.
After being tested by volunteers, the patient lift resumed its function and was immediately sent to Se's home in Yonghe.
Later, when we are proficient in operating this device, it is really very helpful for all family members.
This device, after using it for a long time and getting used to it, will function smoothly.
Volunteers are happy to see the second-hand assistive device continue its life, reducing the burden of the families in need. Among Dharma Master Zhen Yan disciples are a group of lay practitioners who abstain from having a family to help others. Today we meet two of them, Jin Xi and Jin Len, who is a volunteer at Tzu Chi Hospital and a former principal of Tzu Chi Elementary School. After breakfast, this lay practitioner, Jin Xi, is busy stacking steamed buns. Jin Ling is responsible for washing dishes. No more. Why is there so little? Why so little today?
The principal is good. She is already in her 80s and she still works with us like this.
I don't know how to do everything. It's all taught by master. You see, the master is always guiding.
From not knowing to a point where she has been able to do everything, from going to the hospital to receiving guests. After retiring as a principal of Tzu Chi Primary School, Jingling has been virtually involved in Tzu Chi and has received a warm welcome.
During the thunderstorm, when the door of the tour bus opened, I saw that master was holding an umbrella, helping us hold the umbrella one by one. Master could do this, and I was so moved. I saw the bedside of the room during the thunderstorm, and the master pulled all our clothes away, folding them and put them on the bedside. I was even more touched by this. I made a wish to follow the master's footsteps along with other Tzu Chi brothers and sisters.
Good morning, we are grateful to you. Shine brightly. Even at 87, the principal is still working, and at this camp activity, she has a good way of interacting with children.
I think that at the school, when we are teaching students, it's just like gardeners planting trees. But now that we are at this level, we think it's not just important to plant trees, but big trees. We hope that all our children are pillars of society. So yes, we are cultivating world-class talents.
Dedicating her life to education, from preparing Huanian Tzu Chi Elementary School from nothing, she said she was led the entire way by the master's true example.
When the 9/21 earthquake happened, the damage was quite serious. The master said that our school had not yet enrolled students. The school had already laid the foundation, but it had not yet enrolled students. The master said that in this disaster area, students were waiting for the classrooms to rebuild, so we should hold off. All human and material resources should be concentrated in this disaster area, put on our own work first, and then first build other people's school, and then come back to build our school. I was very touched by what the master said. This made me feel like having no regrets about joining Tzu Chi.
Such words sealed her destiny for a lifetime. 64-year-old Jin Xi also remembers a special word from the master.
说了一句话哈，他说我
She said a few words, such as, I have no money and I have no strength. All I have is my life and I am willing to donate it. I'm going to build a hospital to save people. She wanted me to be a Tzu Chi commissioner, and after saying just a few soft words, it stimulated me like 2 needle pricks which pierced me. I thought I can't be so selfish anymore. I didn't know how to politely refuse her, so I'll just say yes and accept this role.
Due to these special moments, her life changed completely, and from then on, all she did and talked about was Tzu Chi. In 1986, when Huanian Tzu Chi Hospital was opened and she became a volunteer.
In fact, I don't know much. Frankly speaking, I just sort of have a zeal, a kind of heart that wants to help others. Today, if I do it alone, I will never get it done. I often tell volunteers that we have volunteer service teams because there are so many people willing to work as a team. If I am alone, I am not a teammate.
Every volunteer is part of Tzu Chi's history.
One more intuitive thing that the Master does is call upon a group of people to take the initiative to be compassionate and help the world. When one enters the crowd and is compassionate and altruistic, one realizes himself. So it is a process from altruism to enlightenment. Of course, a Tzu Chi person can refer to a certain ethnic group, but it can also refer to any person who has a kind of compassion in his heart. In fact, he is a Tzu Chi person in a broad sense. For example, for any disaster, we go to the scene first. Many people don't know the Dharma, what is suffering. They don't know the impermanence of life. When they see the scene, this is impermanence and this is suffering. No matter what habits everyone has in the sense of suffering, everyone shows the Bodhisattva heart and gives without asking for anything.
In 55 years of Tzu Chi, the seeds of compassion have been deeply planted and have been promoted during the first 3 years of its establishment. In 1963, the Monk Master bowed and converted to Buddhism following Dharma Master Yi Sun, falling for all living beings, the 6-character mantra which entered her heart for eternity.
At the moment, for Buddhism and for all living beings, the Master had already made up her mind, and the Master had read these 6 words. In fact, it is just one, the implementation and realization of Bodhisattva belief. To save one more sentient being, get more wisdom, and nourish more compassion.
When Tzu Chi inherited the spirit of Buddhism and practiced in modern time and space, the work of Jingxi and Jingling have been just one example for others. 96 years old, you can be at ease here. Here will take care of you very much. Okay, then bless you. Be so peaceful.
We really want to use compassion and the joy of giving, and this compassion and the joy of giving really wants eternity.
Then at any time, without end, always then everywhere, then everything.
Considering the recent pandemic, Kaohsiung Tzu Chi volunteers had made 1,200 pieces of anti-epidemic face shields to safeguard the health of the frontline police. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and see you next time.